Hi, I just want to talk to you now about the passage for Sunday, which is the one on the road to Emmaus, Luke 24:13 to 35. I'll be concentrating on just a few words in verse 21, and you'll obviously know what they are when I come to that point. This video will probably fall into two parts as well. So this is part one. Just over 2 years ago, many of you will know that my wife, Maggie, she became noticeably unwell. I mean, a number of people have spotted things that were not quite right, and I suppose things had crept up on her, and because the symptoms at first seemed very mild, to say the least, I personally didn't see anything out of the ordinary. However, the week after Easter 2018, her behaviour became a cause for immediate concern, culminating with me having to take Maggie to hospital with what I thought was a suspected stroke. At this stage, Maggie had lost the ability to speak and couldn't walk on her own. Well, not walk very well anyway. We got to the hospital car park, that's Rotherham District in general, and I just had parked the car and was just about to close the door where Maggie came out, and she fell badly in the car park and cracked her head on the concrete car park floor. There was blood everywhere. Maggie wasn't moving, and I honestly thought that Maggie had died there and then. Anyway, cut long story short, panic stations, telephone calls, etc., etc., help from passers-by. We managed to get an ambulance to the hospital car park, and she was rushed into the acute medical unit. Her wound was dressed, and eventually she was sent for a head scan. And all this took several hours of waiting and questioning. The doctor came back early evening and told us, quietly, that they had seen a mass on the front left temporal lobe of Maggie's brain. But we had hoped, verse 21. We had hoped that it was a stroke. Treatable, yes. We had hoped, but our worst fears were subsequently confirmed, which was a malignant tumour. Many of us can say and have said in our life experiences, we had hoped, whether it be relationships, we had hoped our marriage would have lasted, we had hoped that we'd have kept our jobs, we had hoped that our savings would have lasted, we had hoped that there would not be a pandemic that would have so seriously affected everybody in the world. We had hoped for a long retirement. We had hoped with a deeper relationship with God. We had hoped for God to be more real. We had hoped to see God. We had hoped that God would answer prayer. We had hoped. The passage for today echoes those same sentiments. Cleopas and his friend, possibly his wife, Mary, were walking back on Resurrection Sunday. They obviously had followed Jesus right to what seemed the end. They are confused, disappointed, shell-shocked. All their hopes and dreams kindled by this man called Jesus were now shattered, were dead. What's worse, the tomb in which he was buried was empty. His body, literally, God knows where. There was talk from some women of angels, gardeners, a speaking ghost. We had hoped. That's the end of part one now of the video.